But thank you so much for meeting with me. And
You're welcome.
Jesse, I'm so sorry that you are going through this right now. I know divorce is hard, very difficult,
Yes, it
um,
is.
tremendous amount of emotions, a roller coaster, different feelings. Sometimes when you go through a divorce, it's not day to day; it's minute to minute, or at least hour to hour of how you feel. So I definitely get that, and I'm sorry for you, and I'm also excited for you because this also is an extremely amazing opportunity for you to discover yourself, remake yourself, um, for you to really get another chance at building the life that you want, something that's exciting and powerful for you. Something that's
Yeah.
really something you've crafted, and so I'm also excited for you. So during this process here, there's a spectrum of emotions that you're going to be feeling, including anger, resentment. Um, there's going to be some powerful ones that feelings about your divorce and about who you divorced, and about yourself and about other people. There might even be times where you kind of feel feelings like everyone's against you or it's never going to work out. It's a pretty tremendous amount of emotions. What I want you to do is to just remember that the emotion is going to change. You're not always going to be happy because there's going to be some times you're like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. This is the best time of my life. And then that might change. You might feel a little more sad and discouraged. Just remember, whatever you're feeling, that it's not going to stay that way. Probably just ride the roller coaster, feel the feelings, but also direct your feelings because feelings come from thoughts. And so you'll have some ideas or some thoughts that will come to your mind, and those will trigger emotion. And so you can control that a lot by changing the story, telling yourself what you what you want to hear, what you want to feel, what you want to believe about your situation. You could be very negative about whose fault it is, if it's your fault or their fault, or things. You could be empowered by saying, "Hey, I take ownership of this," or "I'm excited about this situation." So just make sure you're telling yourself a story that actually suits you in your situation, that builds you up, that makes you have hope and excitement. And so the big thing to remember is that you're gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay, and you're gonna be a stronger, better version of yourself when all this is said and done. So with me saying that, tell me how you're feeling. What are your thoughts as I've mentioned some of these things?
Well, it's true that they fluctuate. They're not always the same, but I would say it's more down than up, and
Sorry to hear that.
more uncertainty because things, your whole life changes now. I find myself in a situation where I have to go to work, and I'm not real excited about that.
I'm
But,
sorry.
but I
That
do
has to be hard.
have your thoughts
That's scary.
about yes, we'll make it through. I know we will, but it's tough.
I bet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's going to be some major changes, and it's unavoidable. But you are going to be stronger and are going to be a better person because of it, and you are going to get through it. But it is, I just have to say, I'm sorry. Um, there's some changes that you might not have wanted, you might not have asked for, and so as you're going through this, just know that you're not alone, and that others have gone through it and they've gotten through, have survived through it and been out better at the other end, and you are too. So during this difficult time, it can be important for you to kind of remember what you're good at. What your strengths are, what your attributes are. Tell me a little bit about what you succeeded in the last 10 years. What did you do right in the marriage, out of the marriage, just kind of things that you feel like you can be proud of or brag about a little bit, or that you excel at. What would be some of those things?
Well, I like to think that I um, excel at things, um, but obviously there were some problems, or we wouldn't be divorced now. So it makes me kind of doubt my um, decision making, where I thought my feelings were and where I was sure I was making the right decision. And it turns out that I wasn't. And that leaves me kind of doubting myself. Um,
I can see that.
but at the same time, I do have some skills. I have, I did work at a school, and I'm sure I could um, return, but it will take some time and some effort and some money because I have to recertify. So I'm looking at that, but I'm not sure I've got the time that it's going to take to do that. I'm probably just going to have to just find a job.
Yeah. You mentioned that that this divorce kind of makes you feel like a little uncertain. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, maybe makes you doubt yourself a little bit, and that is
Right.
perfectly normal. I get it, and actually, that's a good quality to be able to say, hey, maybe there were some things I didn't do right. Maybe I took a little bit of things for granted. Maybe I thought I was good in an area and maybe I'm not. So there will be some good that comes out of this self reflection, but make sure as you're doing it that you also give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes it's just a bad pairing where,
I like that.
yeah, where you didn't do it right or wrong. It just wasn't right, a correct fit for that person, but the next
for
it might be perfect.
for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't change everything. Don't question everything. Be very objective, but also be very, give yourself a lot of leeway and don't get on any sort of thought process that makes you feel like you didn't do anything right and that you don't have anything to offer. Do the opposite, where you did a lot right and you have a lot to offer. And there's somebody out there that would enjoy that and appreciate that, really celebrate you for who you are. And just because that you ended up with somebody who didn't, it doesn't make them a bad person or a good person, but there are different people out there, and they're looking for what there are people out there looking for what you are offering. So remember that, believe that, and entrench that in your belief system while you make some adjustments and some changes, which is a good thing. And that's something that we should bring up, is that the way you view your marriage, there's a level of power that comes from taking ownership of any situation. The one that takes ownership kind of takes control. Now, not in a negative way. A lot of people have some negative connotations about control, but there's a very positive um, uh, result for taking healthy responsibility for a relationship, in that there were things that you could have done different to bring about a different result. As the relationship as a whole, say there's I chose this person, so that was a decision I made and I take responsibility, or I didn't show them enough appreciation. So by doing that, it doesn't put all of the power on them, leaving you helpless and hopeless. If you give all the blame to them, you actually give them all the power as well, all the control. And going forward, that means that you don't have that power and control for yourself. You think, oh, well, it was all their fault and they messed it up and I did good work and they just took me for a ride. Well, then the next person has the power to take you for the ride. So the way to avoid that is by taking ownership. Hey, there were some things I could have done better. There were some things I will do better this next time. I will take ownership of it and say that I wasn't enough in some areas, or that I didn't try hard enough, or I didn't respect them enough or appreciate them enough. By doing it that way, it's not in a negative way, but it's in a positive, healthy, hey, I can do better. I will do better. I feel bad that I didn't maybe do as good as I could have then, and I'm going to recommit myself this next time moving forward, so that you come into your next relationship in a position of strength and power. So let's look at some of the things again. I want to focus on, what do you think you add to a relationship that's positive? Some of your favorite things.
Well, um, it's a good question.
Well, actually, we're going to wrap it up there. I appreciate you doing this video for me. I think they want us to keep it within a certain time frame, like 7 minutes, and I think we've done that. But thank you so much for doing this interview uh, with me. It felt very real, very genuine. I really felt that you put a lot of energy and thought into your answers, and I really appreciate you taking the time to help me out with this tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.